You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. And, of course, the biggest story this offseason with any of these NFL teams is quarterback movement, whether it's these teams drafting a quarterback or re-signing one of their own or going out and getting a big-name free agent like Kirk Cousins or Baker Mayfield. So enter in the Cleveland Browns. Browns got a bit of an issue because they've got a quarterback that they obviously traded a boat ton of resources for, and they signed to what can only be described as the worst contract in the history of the NFL, at least through right now. And the fact is, that will be the worst contract ever if they don't win a Super Bowl. All right? That's where they set the standard for the contract. And there's some really eye-opening statistics. And I'll show you one between Deshaun Watson and one Joe Flacco. Now, Joe Flacco is going to be an unrestricted free agent. There's going to be a couple of quarterbacks on the market that's got real ties to the Browns. Joe Flacco and Jacoby Brissett, all right? There's some, even ESPN suggested the other day, maybe they think out of the box and re-sign Joe Flacco and sign Jacoby Brissett, because you're not going to pay a ton of money for him, but you're going to pay somewhere, my guess would be somewhere combined about $12 million for both quarterbacks. Keep in mind, Deshaun Watson has a $65 million dead cap hit. I mean, it's sort of baffling what's going on. But this probably isn't great news for the Cleveland Browns if you're wanting to re-sign Flacco in case Deshaun Watson comes back. Now, let me give you an idea. This is PFF. This is their quarterback ranks. You have Flacco at 22. You've got Deshaun Watson way down at 27. So you're getting an idea of where Flacco is. Justin Fields, Baker, Derek, Russell, Joe Burrow, Jake Browning. I mean, I think I may be the biggest Jake Browning fan ever. Now, you see, this is quarterback statistics, and this was 5 games, 323 yards per game. Now, you're thinking, wow, that's really great for Deshaun Watson, except this was Joe Flacco, comeback player of the year, Joe Flacco, in the NFL. He threw an insane 1,616 yards in 5 games. That's a problem when you compare that back to what the Browns have gotten out of Deshaun Watson, which is basically, through 12 games, 184 yards a game. Yikes. That is 150 yards a game difference. So we're talking about down the field once and another half again worth of offensive yardage. That's gargantuan in the NFL. So this is going to be bad news for Browns fans, or the Browns, if they're looking to sign Flacco. Flacco signed with the Browns after Deshaun Watson suffered a season-ending injury in November. He provided a spark for the Browns offense in the regular season, going 4-1 in his starts. 1,616 yards, 13 TDs, 8 picks, earned comeback player of the year. Flacco did not shine as brightly in the postseason. He did have 2 pick sixes. It went bad. But there's obviously something that clicks between Kevin Stefanski and Joe Flacco. The Browns will have the opportunity to bring Flacco back next season. The team could also try to sign him to an extension before free agency if both sides agree. But Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot, boy, she's been covering the Browns forever, expects Flacco to test the market before making a decision. Quote, I think Flacco will test the market to see if any teams were inspired by his 4-1 performance with the Browns, and also to set his price. So he wants to go out on the market, find out how much he can get out there, and then ask the Browns, hey, you want to match it? Cabot wrote in her latest Q&A on February 25th, quote, after getting a taste of starting again, he certainly doesn't want to ride the bench if he can avoid it, especially at the age of 39. He knows this is his chance to utilize what's left in the tank. He won't want to waste it. He'll also see if a team is willing to pay the $8 million or so that Jacoby Brissett got from the Commanders last season. If a chance to start doesn't materialize, he'll happily come back. So, at least Flacco's open to a return back to the Browns, but you can't exactly say, well, they're not going to hand him the starting job, I don't think. Personally speaking, I would let Deshaun Watson compete with Joe Flacco for this job. You would go into training camp and you would try to earn it, both of them. See who plays better. That's all there is to it. See who performs better. We know one thing. One clearly could move the ball up and down the field much easier. And it was night and day watching the Browns once Joe Flacco got in versus Watson. That being said, Flacco has established himself as a folk hero of sorts in Cleveland. And he's gushed about his time with the Browns. Quote, "How lucky was I to get on a team that was ready to make a run like that and to be around a bunch of great guys in the locker room," Flacco told the Pardon My Take pod back on January 18th. "There was something special about being there and how people treated me. I felt a lot of love, and my family did as well. You could feel the excitement in the city. They are craving some playoff wins and a chance at the Super Bowl." Here's my thing. The one thing you can say about Flacco is, well, he's won a Super Bowl. He was a Super Bowl MVP. So there's something there. And you have to wonder, because there's so much talent on this Browns team, I think two things would concern me. Number one, you've been to the playoffs twice. Neither one of the times in the last 4 years has been Deshaun Watson. That would worry me a lot. But nonetheless, I think you almost owe it to the fan base to give Flacco a shot, or at least try everything to get him back in the building. "I'm open to be back in Cleveland, but I don't want to rush any decisions," Flacco said. "I can't say enough good things about how this organization is being run right now." And look, I will say this, Stefanski did a hell of a job under the circumstances, and I was pretty tough on him at one point last year, but it was because of all of his weirdness around. I think he jumped out there a few times and said Watson was going to play when he really didn't know that at the time that he said it, and then he found out after the fact, oh crap, he's not going to play. And then, of course, we forget there was all that weirdness around the fact that it seemed like Deshaun Watson just quit. Remember, 2 hours before the Ravens game, he was supposed to start. All the team thought he was going to start, and teammates were mad at him because he had told them all week, "I'm going to start," and then boom, "I'm not starting." And the team was mad. There was people on that team that was mad. That was floating around out there, and then all of a sudden Joe Flacco came through the door, and everything changed. And the city gravitated towards Flacco very quickly, I know there's no way you can compare these two, and I get it. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco. But you got one, they're both basically 40 years old. They're both Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. And Flacco's, much like Rodgers, and actually more so, Flacco's got a better cannon right now than Rodgers does, I think. Flacco's got a monstrous arm, and he always has. That was always his calling card, was Flacco had a cannon. And you could watch it last year. He showed it. You could see it. It was like, whoa. Flacco's still got plenty of arm strength. Something to think about. Tight window throws, etc. Deep outs. He's hitting those all day long. Now, he's going to throw some picks, but he's going to throw the ball all over the yard. He's not going to be shy about it either. So that's something to think about. I don't know how. I got the sense a lot of Browns fans would like to see him back somehow, some way. The Browns are sort of trapped. They can't get out of that Watson contract. Alex Van Pelt and that crew lost their jobs already over Watson. Stefanski's next. If they don't make the playoffs and win, I think, at least one game, then your coach is going to be gone. And you still got Deshaun Watson. I don't know what to tell you. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.